meeting will come to order. Madam Porter, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Staton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Key.
Here.
Alderwoman Arms.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Porter. Fellow citizens, will you please stand? Vice Mayor, would you be kind enough to lead us in prayer?
In the name of Jesus, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, not only what we know how, asking you to please forgive us for all of our sins. Lord, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. Father God, we thank you for all your wonderful blessings. Father God, as we go through this meeting, Lord, I ask that you would lead us, guide us, and direct us, Lord, in the path that you would have us to go. Lord, help us to make every decision, Father, that will be pleasing unto you. And God, I'll be so careful to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. In Jesus' holy name we pray. And everybody said amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll wait till Ben gets around here with us. All right. Silas, would you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Silas. Come in, sir. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a good day. So the only item on the agenda this evening is the 24-25 budget. Lisa and Lori have solved this to a certain extent before. There are some good things that are going on with our budget and our budget predictions. In the general fund, and I'll be glad to give y'all a copy of this. By the way, this is a draft, but it's pretty accurate. What it did is we went through and we looked at the predicted spend for the rest of the year, which we can do.
Right. But if you, excuse me for just a second, when I asked about the meeting, I thought we were gonna be discussing what everybody voted on about amending the budget, removing money from water and sewer fund, depreciation and all that. That's what I thought we were gonna be discussing in a workshop.
No, Carol.
But that's what I asked specifically.
The amendment is only to realign the budget.
Yes, to fit in.
Because that is what is required from the
Yes.
comptroller for us to do.
I understand
That
exactly what.
resolution has passed.
Okay, I understand that, but do you remember, and I don't know if Lori was on the board or not, but when you guys came to us and wanted to take the $68,000, plus for the jetter, and I said, and you said you're taking it out of the water and sewer fund.
We did.
Exactly, and I said, don't come back to the table if you're gonna take money out there and then come back and say you wanna raise rates. We have raised rates for the last 2 years, I said that.
I understand what you're saying, Bill,
Yes.
but I think there's a misunderstanding.
No, there's no misunderstanding,
Yes,
I was
there
very clear,
is. I am being very clear.
well, and I am too,
And I want to talk to you about this very nicely.
and I do too.
And Sharon can help me explain this. We have a water and sewer fund
I
that
understand
has
that,
a certain amount of money.
I understand that,
Right?
I understand that,
A certain amount of that money is in reserve.
I understand that
It's
also,
not part of our
I understand
expenses, Right?
I understand that also.
That has nothing to do.
I understand what
We
you're saying.
budget year by year. Expenses, revenue.
I understand that.
It has nothing to do with
I
our reserve.
understand that.
Is that correct?
This is a workshop, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I wanna
Yeah.
find out what's going on. I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
getting up there and voting. I don't go along to
Yeah.
get along. I remember when Alderman Adams first got on the board, and I really appreciate that. When you was talking about wanting to have maybe like a city hall meeting to explain to people about our water. You said you hope that at least one day that we'll be saving water, and one day maybe we could even decrease. Remember saying that a long time ago? Okay, that was 2 or 3 years ago per se. It's been a while back. Okay, we all went along with that.
Yeah.
Okay, we are saving water.
Yes,
We've
ma'am.
got more revenue. I don't understand why we have to always come back and want to raise these rates. I'm here for the people, okay?
Well,
And I think that our board needs to get more engaged
Come on.
on what's going on, the
Yeah.
funds. This is OPM,
other people's money that we're dealing with.
You know, I believe I speak for Sharon and I both when, I don't believe you could ask for better stewardship.
I understand that, but you guys, Jeff, Mayor, you're doing a great job. You are doing your job. You bring it to the board, we delegated you to be the city manager. We're getting transparency, and we're not gonna do no eyes, okay? I keep it real,
You're getting that.
and I appreciate you, you're doing great. And if there's any shortcoming, it's not on you, it's on the board.
Well, no, ma'am.
Yes, it would be, because
it's-
you work at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, but.
Just like you
here-
oversee Miss Sharon
I
and everybody over
oversee
there.
everyone, yes, sir.
Okay, I wanna do things right, okay? I don't wanna argue with anybody, it's hard, people are struggling. And if I can help one person, it's worth it. And these water rates, you know how much a flat rate is if you don't use any water?
Oh, yeah, actually.
Well, I'm not
it's
asking
right
you, do
here.
anybody
Yeah,
know how
I'll be
much your
glad
bill
to
is?
show you.
Yes.
I know how much, do you know
Flat
how
rate,
much?
including sewer, I believe is 67.
68, I think.
It's, yeah,
It's
67
it's
and
just a
change.
flat rate. And if we raise rates, and we can talk about this at another meeting, but if we raise rates, what is the flat rate gonna be? We have to
I'll be
really,
glad to
we need to,
explain that to you.
we need to really sit down and go through this.
That's the
We
reason we're
real,
here.
no, but everybody has a voice, and if we can save a person $1, I'm sure the citizen would appreciate it, instead of adding $1.
Well, and no.
And
No.
exactly, our roads,
What two different things.
it's two different things, but it all come together because it's the people. That's
Yeah,
one thing.
Well,
But we can sit down and chat anytime you want
we
to.
have every number here for you,
I understand that.
completely
I
transparent.
understand that.
Uh,
Well,
And that regards the expenses as well.
I understand that.
And,
Well, we can cut down on some of the expenses.
how
We need
are
to
we
sit
going
down.
to do that?
Okay,
How are we going
and
to
I'm
do
sure the employees will tell you, I'm all for the employees, as long as it's right, I stand up. There's been
Yeah.
people that wouldn't have a job if I had this, if
Okay,
I had this.
yeah.
Okay, we're not going there, just for
Go
a
ahead,
point.
I'm
Let 'em-
listening.
just for a point, just for a point, They don't pay their insurance. We helped them there, and I think you had stated something about insurance is going up, and we'll be
Yes.
covering that. Mayor, I don't know about anybody else, I've gotta pay my insurance. And it's not right, and we got good employees, and Miss Sharon and her group, and the chief, and Alan, everybody's doing good. I am proud, they're doing good, but let's don't forget about the people. That's why I'm on this board, the people are the one that elect me on this board, and that's why I'm here. If I can help the people to kinda ease some of all this pain on them. And I suggest that we look over these, because if we vote, y'all voted last week, okay?
We just
on-
voted to amend the budget.
to amend the budget, right? So when we come back for this budget, whatever you amend, we're gonna be short.
Mm,
It's gonna be short, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
There's
And if
misunderstanding.
well, then, you know what? This is serious business.
Yeah, I work
and-
here
and
every
I don't
day,
pretend to
Cheryl,
know
you
it all.
work
I
here every
don't
day,
know.
And Sharon does.
I don't know, but I know people that do. If I have to reach out,
I wish
I
you
would do.
would.
Okay,
I wish you would.
all right.
Now, we're here to talk about the budget for next year. Your points are noted.
They're noted.
I'm a
Okay, as long
citizen
as the
too,
people
Cheryl.
know, and I stated
Yeah.
that I will not vote for an increase. And just for the record,
That is your pleasure,
when we
ma'am.
thought we were gonna be in the black or the red or whatever, if we didn't raise rates, we found out that wasn't true. When we found out if we was gonna have to hire, if we get a city manager or we would be in red, that wasn't true. We ended up finding out we had enough money to pay for a city manager for 17 years. I just want honesty. And if you say that's not true, we'll have that guy come back if he
Let
lied.
him come back.
If he lied, let him come back.
Let him come back.
Because
I'm not
I
gonna
just
fuss
want
with you.
honesty.
I'm here to do a budget meeting, Carol. Do
Right.
you wanna do a budget meeting?
I wanna
tomorrow?
do a budget meeting, but this is a workshop, Jeff.
Yeah.
Mayor. I wanna make it easier for the people.
Okay, so we're gonna show you what we're spending, what
Okay,
we
and-
spent last year, what we spent the previous year.
That's fine, and
We're
I'm not
gonna
here to
show you
argue.
where we're at. It's right here for you. Every dime is right here for you. That's where we're
I
at.
understand, and I'm not
And you
arguing.
didn't even allow me to start to brief you.
Well, I know you wanna discuss this, but you
That's the general fund.
you misunderstood. When I asked for a workshop, I was asking to discuss the numbers of this. I wasn't
That's
even thinking
what
about
we're
that.
doing, Carol.
The amendment that you guys already voted on? That's what I
That is a
want.
whole different.
I know. And y'all, evidently y'all discussed that in a meeting that I wasn't at. So how in the world could I vote on something that I don't know nothing about? The amendment, I just wanted you to explain these numbers, that's all I ask.
Okay.
So,
Do y'all wanna go back to the
no,
amendment?
you go
and
ahead
I'll
with your,
explain
I've
it?
made my point.
I got it.
No, I made my point.
Yeah.
I will check it out and
No.
verify it.
No.
You know, trust and verify.
Please.
I
And-
think there's a misunderstanding
Yeah,
as far
there
as what
is.
that amendment was, cause we've discussed this in last workshop, and basically.
I
all you're
wasn't
doing-
here.
I know. So basically, the way I understood this, we had our audit, right? All we're doing is lining these numbers up for this next
That's all
budget.
it is.
Yeah,
That's it. We're not
Yeah.
taking any money out
Right,
of
I
it.
understand
We're just
that.
trying to make a new budget for the next year.
But
That's
was
it.
you at the meeting when, we needed to generally voted on it?
Yeah.
And do you recall me saying, now, don't come to the table, you're gonna take this money out of water and sewer, don't come to the table and wanna raise water rates?
The way I look at that though, hey, hold on.
No, I was at, she was saying something.
I was at the meeting,
Thank
and I recall you saying that.
Thank you.
But I think we're at a point now, from what I understand, that Jenner was an absolute necessity.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But I don't think, your passion for the people is overwhelmingly, I find it hard to put into words, because you're such a fighter for the people.
Yeah.
Oh, I will always do.
And
You used to?
I've never met anyone like you before.
One of a kind,
You
sister.
truly care.
Yeah.
I believe that he's gonna be able to explain, and I understand what you're saying, I understand, like, you're seeing an amount of money for something, and you're thinking, how do we
Right,
shave that?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I get that, I understand that. Hopefully, it will make more sense, and I think he's willing to dive into shaving. And I think we have just gotten to a point where everything is so daggone expensive.
Definitely,
From
definitely.
fuel to, just
Everything.
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 And
Yes.
it's hit the people hard.
It very hard.
And I understand that
Right.
$1 is a lot of money
It really
in,
is.
per month, cause $1, throughout the entire year.
Right.
And I understand
Right.
what you're saying. You want to make sure that there's no fluff going somewhere, that there's not
Exactly.
bloat going somewhere. I get that.
Right. But you was not on the board when we thought we had no money, and then we found out that we did have money.
I was not at that
Okay,
point. at
so
that
see,
point, no.
Yeah, I'm a little step ahead there, because see, I know, and I just don't wanna fall into that anymore.
You have
Ben
skepticism.
was on the board then, I don't
I
wanna fall back into
appreciate,
that.
I appreciate that.
You understand that?
I do.
Okay, thank you. So that's why,
Mhm.
I want transparency and I want total honesty. As I said, this is OPM, other people's
Other,
money.
other people's money.
Don't mess with my money now.
That training we took emphasized that this is money that belongs to other people.
Exactly.
And when we,
And the depreciation.
it's not ours to
and all
just
that.
spend and
No.
spend, and I wanna believe that we're not doing that.
Oh, I don't think we are. I think Jeff is doing a great job.
Yeah.
I really do.
And so when he breaks down the numbers, I hope we can look.
Right. I think he's doing a great job. He brings everything to us. I have no complaints. If I had a complaint, I'd speak up. But what I'm saying is transparency, bring it to the board. And if there's any slack, it falls on us.
100%.
We are now in compliance.
All right. All right. So you know everything. You got a fresh course.
Hey, I heard all
now.
about the OPM too.
Yeah.
All right now.
Other
You knew what I was
people's money.
talking about.
It's crazy.
For those that don't know, other people's money.
I will say some of the fraud stuff that they went over was pretty shocking.
Wasn't
I
it
could
though?
not believe.
Wasn't it though? And the depreciation.
And I was like, that one was sold $300,000. I was like, how in the world did that happen?
Because they didn't
It's-
engage
it's-
and watch.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm. It's scary. It's scary.
But did you think the PALS information was cool?
yeah.
Wasn't that cool? I thought that was cool.
I was.
Okay.
I'm going back
I
to watch
digress.
it again.
I
was
digress.
like, good
Sorry,
Lord, I think
sorry,
she's
Mayor.
gonna miss some time. Then he's like, oh, she got a year probation.
I'll talk like y'all want me to talk.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you
You're
know,
big.
Mayor, you do, I mean, I have no complaints. You're doing your job. And if there's any shortcomings, it falls on the board. So it's not on you. You're doing a good job. I have no complaints.
What it states.
Exactly, exactly.
So anyway, if y'all are ready, I'll go ahead and talk about the general fund first. The good news is, we're not in any form or fashion in a place where we would have to raise property taxes. The property taxes are coming in satisfactorily. And, you know, we actually, there's some other municipalities in the counties that are looking at these new property assessments and squirming. We had enough foresight last year to do a slight increase in the property taxes, and it paid off. So that is in good shape. Also, we are seeing our courts come in good shape. We are seeing sales tax come in good shape. So with that, and what you see here is a general fund. This is, as you can see, all the revenues that we expect for next year. And you will notice that the total revenue is coming out to $1,714,520. That's what we expect. That's our draft number for appropriation. At this point, we see expenditures being at about $1,701,060, which would make us in a surplus for the next year at $13,460.
And that's just from this year alone.
That's for us
Just-
looking into next year.
Right.
Looking in the next year. And what we do, just so y'all understand, Sharon and I had the ability to go in the system in real time and see what we've spent today, up to date, and what we appropriated. And then what we can do is take that number and predict what will come out by June 30th, by the trend. And that's exactly what we did here. A few things in here, the general fund, some employees, as you know, are paid from the general fund. And with this budget, we would include a 3% increase, up to.
On water?
No,
On what?
we're in the general fund now.
Okay.
This is Sharon's
Make sure you get it
team, the streets, and this and that, the folks that work in those
Mhm.
departments, there's
Mhm.
several departments.
Gotcha.
Right? And, we would, you know, we work on an evaluation system here. Supervisors evaluate their employees and they can recommend an increase up to 3% according to their last year's performance. So we budget that way. We budget at 3%. The insurance, for the employees, it did go up, or will be going up in this next year, approximately 7%. Per employee, 7%.
So what is the amount?
38,000.
Yeah, so, well, on just that line,
Yeah.
across the board, it's $900, I think, it wasn't it, per employee,
On what?
on their insurance. Wasn't it $908 or something?
Increase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $900 a year.
Increase.
A year.
Okay, but they get it free, right?
Yes,
I mean,
we
don't-
provide the
we-
employee
yeah,
insurance,
we-
not
yeah,
their dependents,
yeah.
just the employee.
Okay, but we have to kinda watch it too.
Right.
I mean, this increase, well, you know, I'm all for it,
Yeah.
but
I mean, there can be a time where it prices out where we can't afford to do it.
exactly,
That is true.
exactly,
That is true.
exactly.
But I will
Mine
explain
don't
to
price
the board
out.
that one of the ways that we are able to retain employees, we are not able to compensate employees similar to some of the other municipalities. We just don't have the money to do that. But what our card is, that we provide that employee their medical insurance.
That's
And-
part of the salary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you think about their compensation package, so if the employee makes $33,000 a year, a public works employee, for example, then they're really making about 45 because we provide that employee's medical insurance. The police department is a very good example of that because other police departments that you can check are paying in the $20+ an hour range for their officers. The county just allocated $1 million to the sheriff's department. They start people in the jail over $20 an hour. We are not able to pay that, but the way we keep those employees and retain them is they don't pay medical for themselves.
We understand in our employees, they make good hourly though, don't they? I mean,
That's
they
what-
make more than minimum wage, I'm
Oh,
sure.
gosh, yeah.
Okay.
But if you look at the comparables, city of Kingsport, city of Bristol, Sullivan County, Carter County, even Hawkins County, especially the police officers, and I think Ben can attest to this, they're in the mid-20s per hour, mid-$20 per hour. With what we take in revenue, it's difficult for us to keep up. When they can allocate $1 million and they can do this and that, we don't have that kind of income. So that's the way we keep folks
I understand that. I
is by
understand that.
providing that insurance to them.
I understand it, but you know, I mean, that's good, but I have never heard of a place paying your insurance. So they, I mean, they got great benefits. And I'm all for that.
And the compensatory time package is really good, TCRS.
Yeah, and we matched their,
TCRS.
401K.
Yes,
I mean,
do.
you know, we do all that.
So-
And like, Alderman Ben said, you know, it comes a time when stuff start drying up a little bit, we gotta help each other.
So,
you know.
what, another
But that's
thing,
general fund. Is
yeah,
it- are
we're
we-
just talking
general
about
fund?
general fund.
general fund.
Yeah.
We're-
I don't
Very
think, I don't think
It's-
we're in
we-
danger of having like.
Honestly,
We
Good
move money
time.
over it all the
we,
time.
I mean, this is something, I'll get down in the weeds as far as you want me to. The general fund is very healthy.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about the folks that work in streets or work in the police department or finance administration team. That fund is healthy.
How are we comparatively to Kingsport and the other areas with paying our police officers? Because I know.
We are behind. What we're trying to do here is offer a more competitive salary package for the police officers. We're way behind, yeah, and you can check with the other municipalities. And that's the reason that providing the employee's medical insurance is so big. 7% increase to keep an employee here. If they go to the city of Kingsport, say we're paying them, I don't know, $18 an hour, and they can go to the city of Kingsport for $24 an hour, but they're paying for their insurance, they'd rather stay here. Another thing is,
Kingsport's a whole different animal.
our
Since you went-
insurance is good insurance. It's good. Our employees use it, and we don't hear any complaints. Claims are handled
Yes, no.
properly, loaded up, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. So, that's the reason that we stay with that offer of medical benefits.
And I know we do train our officers. We put them through training, we give them lots of wonderful training.
We do.
We just don't wanna retain them
We
after their
do.
training.
Right. We, basically what we do is, if we bring on a new officer like Nathaniel, standing over there, he came in, we sent him to the police academy and we paid for it. There is an obligation on his part that when he signs on and he's hired, that, there's a 24-month deductible on his academy. If he leaves us, he would have to pay part of that back. Any that's one of the things that we didn't do well in the past, is we didn't offer our employees in general, not just police officers, the training that they should get, that they need, and it helps us when they do that.
Well,
And the part of this general fund stuff is the result of that training, because we've sent more officers to DDC, we're more involved in DHSO, we have an officer in the DTF, so our ports are up.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
and it actually pays itself back. So, in the police department specifically, what we're doing, the chief and I have worked, on that budget, and, we were trying, what we're proposing to the board in these salaries is that we had some part-time positions in the police department, we really don't need them. So we're gonna take the money we allocated in the past for the part-time positions, and we're gonna spread it across the hourly employees and give them a better raise. And then the salaried employees that are evaluated by myself or the chief could get up to 3%. So it's a good raise when you make 50 or 60,000 a year, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just
So-
know there's been an uptick in crime. The police officers are doing remarkable work.
Well, I mean, I can't
I
say
just wanna
enough
make
about.
sure that
yeah.
they're,
Y'all,
We
I
got great
share
workers.
stories with you, as does the chief and Deputy Chief Dunbar and our Blue Command team on the amount of drugs we're taking off the streets. We're doing approximately 300 citations a month and about 200 warnings a month, patrolling 5,000 to 8,000 miles a month. And y'all saw this last month, and I pulled up, but to memory, 31 felony arrests, 31. Used to be like 7.
what, with that goes, the danger
Yeah.
though, and you
Right.
just really want your police force, I believe, to be compensated.
I don't think we're looking at an uptick in numbers because more crime is happening. I think because we have a better
They're
police force.
catching more crime,
Exactly.
okay, I
We got
understand that,
tighter
I get
string.
that.
Right,
We got tighter string.
Yeah,
And-
and that's, I'd like to keep that.
and you get that without having a lot of turnover. You have consistency, you have
Right.
dependability, and we, that's why we've got to
So-
support them.
And you said yourself, how they've just done phenomenal, so,
Yeah,
you
They
know, the court
represent well
system.
in court. And, I'm proud to see our officers in court and
That's
how well
awesome.
they do.
Awesome.
And I'll take the same thing to finance and administration, Sharon's team. We've went through, pretty much a new system implementation. We've went on Watson RMS in the last year, and they absorbed that. We're doing all kinds of new things. We, are well represented with Sandy as our principal clerk, Jeanette as our court clerk, and then Miss Eunice is just a gun for hire. And Sharon, I mean, what I gotta say?
I had to give it to you, you're right
eight
on
perfect
it.
hours in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
I keep
We
it.
got a win
Yeah.
team on the white team.
Yep.
And we've offered training, we'll continue to offer training. And we did these implementations without big shutdowns. A lot of institutions would have said, okay, we've got to shut down for 2 weeks because we're gonna change all our computer systems over. We may shut down a day here, half a day here, this, that, and the other, and we're still waiting on it. And, all of the feedback from our citizenry, the calls I get are bragging calls. I came in and I had something that didn't even have to do with Bluff City, and the lady helped me, put me with the right people, you know what I'm saying? All in all, the general fund is solid. Really in here, that we have increased, cost appropriations to match expenses. That's all it is.
I have one question about that. I think, was it last year or year before last? I think me and Alderman, Biggs was the only ones on the board at the time. When we was talking about our building, it's paid for now, right? Cause I thought you said it was one more
May the
year.
25th.
We will pay the last pay.
When? The 25th
May 25th.
this year.
Yes.
I knew it. Okay, board, it will be, okay, now how much are we gonna be saving? What was the payment every year? I mean, every month or whatever, how you paid it?
It's right up there,
Yeah,
$68,000.
Wait a minute, $68,000?
Yes.
May is the last time we paid the $68,000 out. Okay, so that's $68,000 that we're not gonna have to be paying anymore, right?
That is correct.
Okay, we got much work to do. Okay, sounds great.
But mind you.
It'll be paid for at
Yeah,
$68,000.
yeah, that's a great milestone for us. But mind you, like I say,
The roof needs to
We.
Well, it's always gonna be something, but it won't be $68,000.
And we gotta put a parking lot.
Yeah, we will.
We gotta do some things.
It will definitely be worth
And-
22-year-old building.
Right. And the COVID funds and stuff, all that's
They're all
gone.
gone.
We didn't even get no infrastructure done at all, did we?
Well, no.
That's what it's supposed to be done.
The grant, you talking about the ARPA money?
The COVID.
We
what they
used the
gave.
ARPA money for several things.
I know we got that building back there.
Yeah.
That's about all I
We had a
know.
little, right, a lot of that was operational expenses and different things, but yeah, there's no more ARPA money.
And it's supposed to be used for infrastructure.
Well,
roads.
yeah, that's what I say, it was a.
There's a lot of water infrastructure things.
And that's another thing we have to really discuss in one of these meetings, since this is a workshop, we gotta do something about these roads. I've been getting calls complaint with that.
Well, you'll
Big time.
notice, we have, on that very point, we did plus up, as you'll see, in paving and road materials, we did increase it by $10,000. We're proposing for next year. We estimated 15,000 last year, we audited 16,688. So we're proposing $25,000, this next year for paving. We've
So we're gonna
increased that
start it, when do you think we might start, so I can at least tell?
Well, it
that
will
we're
most
planning to
likely be after the new budget year. On a similar note, we
Similar
are
grant.
working with the Johnson City MTPO, and I've briefed y'all on this before, on some possibilities of STDB grants for the 3 roads that I mentioned to you, which is Lakeview Drive, a portion of Old Elizabeth and Highway Carter Street, and Weaver Branch Road. All those are state eligible. Actually, I had some emails about that today. So we're trying to see if we can get some state money
Right,
to help us resurface those
right.
roads.
I don't know if y'all remember or not,
We
when
need to
Railroad
do
Street
something
caved
about Park
in.
Swirly there, where
Oh,
the
yeah.
school line,
No,
because
well,
everybody has to, if you just go slow, it's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody goes up on that side
Oh,
of
yeah.
that Christian
I know.
church parking lot. Hey, like a high bank in
And-
Bristol, man, going around
Yeah.
that drain.
Internally,
That
that
bad?
is our priority
Bad.
road. Internally,
I don't
if
think
you'll
that-
remember, we have those 3
I'll
state roads.
avoid it.
But in past workshops, you remember, we determined that Park Swirly from the town line down to Carter was high priority for us.
Yeah,
Now,
not even my side of Park Swirly, I was talking about that hill.
well, if you're gonna do it all, you
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But
And,
please check
I'm not
Railroad
trying to
Street.
lobby for
It's
Bowden
caved
Street,
in,
I'm just saying
you
this
remember when
whole
it
line
caved in, I know
struggles
you
with
remember
that.
when it
Like,
caved
yeah,
in and they
yeah.
had to close it, cause I remember Mary Wells calling, telling me that your
We-
car could fall in it. If you get a chance, just drive through that road, it's caving in, and if it cave in while a car is driving on it, then you really have trouble, because he's caved in
Right.
before.
We are working a project now. on
Or
road.
at least put some concrete or something on it,
Right.
rocks or
And,
something.
So we are
It's
mindful
really bad.
of Railroad Street, for
Yeah.
sure. So anyway, we've appropriated more money for paving. Now, mind you, another good point about paving is that we did, go through the bid process for the Carter Street Water and Sewer Project, and it concluded a few days ago. The low bid was to Thomas Construction Company for $377,000, which is under our grant. Now, this is gonna be a reimbursable grant, so we're not gonna get more money, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And with that, from Kentucky to Main Street will be resurfaced. So that road will be paved in that project. And that project will start in about 60 days
Okay.
or so. So that's great news for us, came in under a grant. And that road will be, after that work is complete, that road will be resurfaced, Main Street. So that'll help us with the tie-in to Park Swirly, you know, that's where we need to focus at. So, anyway, you know, like I say, in the general fund, we are in good shape. This is the final summary of the general fund. And as you can see, basically, we made a few increases here. Look, no no increase in finance and administration. General government and building, we are allocating $50,000 for this building. We've gotta get rid of it. And the part, we don't even know how much it's gonna cost. So in this budget, we are automatically appropriating an additional $50,000 for the building. The other expenses are just expenses, stuff went up, you know what I'm saying? You'll notice in streets, again, we allocated $342, $360. This is what we estimated last year. We're just running with expenses here, is all we're doing. And then you'll see in the transfers, you will not see the $68,000 because we're paying it off on May 25th. So that brings us to $1,701,060. And if you'll remember, back up here at the top, here's what we think we're bringing in, and we will be in the green, $13,460. That is our estimate.
Ms. Sharon, how much did you say that, the payment was for the building? Was that 68?
68,000
Year, month, what?
a year.
A year?
Yeah.
68,000 a year that we want to pay out, okay.
We just paid the big bill, the 66,000's only done once a year.
Right,
Then all through the year you pay interest.
okay, so that's clear,
Right.
might as well say, okay.
So, any specific questions about the general fund? I'd say the good news story of this whole thing is that property tax rate of $1.30 per hundred does not need to be raised.
Property tax will not be raised, and you
Now,
want,
if you decide that, we do not recommend a raise of the property tax.
okay. And water won't be raised either until it's voted on, right?
Nothing happens till.
Till
the
we
board votes
vote.
on it.
Okay, and
I'm
what are
going
you
to make
recommending?
you a recommendation of water and sewer here in a minute, when you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
And, we'll go ahead and shift to water and sewer. Now, you were asking why. We were just talking about it before we had the meeting today, Sharon and I. The chemicals for the water treatment plant are double what they were the year before. The calibrations that we have done by Labtronics, which are required by TDEC, are double what they were before. Also, this last year, as we worked through these leaks, we had our water tank renovated. Y'all remember that? We had to buy water for a spell. We bought a lot more water last year than we normally did. At this point, we are in really dandy shape as far as what water we're producing, and our loss is down. But this last year was it was a killer on expenses. Yeah, it was. So I'm gonna go down through here and just kind of talk about, where we're at, and just be frank with you. So if we continue to track like we are in expenses, and Sharon is dialing in these numbers down to the inches, then, as you can see, we think that we would sell $622,000 worth of water. You also see that we think that we will basically sell sewer for $388,000, right? So, but with that, you see what the revenue is, and you see what the expenses are. So, if we maintain our current course with the expenses that we currently have today, we will be in the red $63,000 for next year, if we do not increase rates. That is what it is. If we increase rates, and I can break that down to you by customer, down to the dollar, on what it would cost, 5%, we will be in the green about $8,000. I don't think you can thread a needle on $1 million any finer than that. And I'm gonna show you some of these things, why this is. So, if you look down through here, obviously, we would offer the same 3% raise to those who work in the water and sewer departments. It's a nominal figure, look. We estimated 43,000 last year, 44, I mean, come on, it's not a big amount of money to give somebody a raise. You can see we touched the health insurance. The chemicals, this number, which Sharon was working on a while ago, is probably low.
Too low.
It's too low, she's already told me this number's too low. Because she is showing us at this point, $14,000 in the red, if I remember right. Yeah. So, again, in sewer, which there's one employee works in sewer, just a minor increase here. The treatment, you see, we audited 117,156 a year before. We appropriated, or we estimated 100.
No, it was too low.
Yeah. What now?
I said we had to amend that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we've already amended.
That was what of the ones.
And then you can
Budget.
see, this is what we think we're gonna face this next year. You can see here, again, a minor raise for an employee, $2,000. We've actually drawn down repair parts a little bit, because we do have stock. I mean, we went through here where we can shave, and shaved as best we can. Distribution and collection, you can see we've only raised it for our appropriations to $134,200. Again, a minor raise here. Now look here, I highlighted this for you.
That's what kills you.
Y'all know about this, depreciation. That right now, that figure is $268,000 plus that we're depreciating. So we appropriated $270,000 for next year. They ain't no way to get out of it, period. We
Because
can't.
when you have a project, a large project, you have depreciation that goes in like it's coming out of your pocket. That's the state makes you do that.
Just like we spent it,
Yep.
and we didn't spend it. Right, this is trash. We don't have a solid number. Y'all know I put trash out for bid, like we're supposed to. We don't have a solid number on what this is gonna be. We do know that they have already increased the surcharges per ton. We're absorbing that, we're okay.
Okay,
You know
we're
what I'm
not.
saying? We're absorbing that, at this point. But we don't even know what this is gonna be yet. So we're just estimating it's gonna be $150,000 a year for us to continue to provide trash service to the citizens. Honestly, we don't know yet. Y'all already know about this, we're paying off $68,000. I've already told you about that. This, the rest of the stuff down through here is basically just police stuff, the drug fund and different things that we have to record for the most part. So,
Just one more question, if you don't
Sure,
mind. What did you
sure.
say that flat rate for the water bill will be?
okay, I have actually a handout for you.
Sadly, you know, we have people that was on the board, that vote for increases, that are no longer on.
Yeah, I've got a handout for you to see.
Is it this fancy handout?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought we'd need that today.
Yeah, and, I think, you know, Carol used to talk about keeping it real, I mean, that's what I tried to do here, it's not pretty.
Not at all.
No, I'm saying,
Not
what I'm
when you
getting ready
have,
to give
not-
you
I mean,
is
my
not
water
pretty.
bill, thank God I can afford to pay mine, but one month mine was $175.
So, here you go.
And there's people that are struggling.
And Carol, here's what it means to the citizens. Now, I apologize,
I
like I say,
understand.
it's not pretty,
Not at all.
but it's exactly what it should be. So, if you look, here we go. On a 5% increase, the average citizen in town uses 3,900 gallons of water per month. out of all our customers. Now, if you look at the top of that, you'll see a circle, and you'll see that we have on the books 1,079 water customers. And so, if you do the math, you will see that there's an average usage of 3,900 gallons a month by our citizens. You'll also see a sewer number down there, which, if you equate that, those that are on sewer, which is less obviously, than 710 customers, they use about 3,208 gallons per month on average with all our customers. So if you live in town and you pay only water, your bill would go up $1.88.
So a flat rate would be, I'm
On the
asking
base
for a
rate,
flat rate.
on the base rate.
Uh-huh.
If you live outside town, your base rate water bill would go up $3.16.
Okay, all I'm asking is, flat rate $68, right? Something like that, $68.
Yeah.
Okay, with the increase, it will
That's
bring it
water
up
and
to.
sewer.
Okay, that's what I want.
We're
That's what I
talking-
want.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's water and
We're
sewer.
talking, I'm breaking it down by water, and I'm gonna get to water and sewer.
Okay,
I
because
just
I
ain't
wanna
got
let my
there yet.
supporters
My
know
apologies.
what
Yeah,
they,
I ain't
what
got,
they
I
can
just,
expect.
ladies, I hadn't got there yet. I'm just, okay, so if you live outside town and you only have sewer, which we do have customers that are like that, they're on Johnson City Water and they have our sewer, your bill would go up $2.78. If you, that's inside. If you live outside town and you're on our sewer and you do not, I say again, do not have our water, your bill will go up $4.19. If you live inside town and you have water and sewer both, the average cost increase would be $4.66 on the bill. If you live outside town and you have our water and you are on our sewer, your cost increase on the average would be $7.35.
So,
And even that,
so that's like $75 for a flat rate.
well,
Close
let's
to
pull the
it.
ordinance, the
Close to
ordinance
it.
actually.
7266.
How much?
If it was 68, it would be 7266.
So I have the ordinance in front of me,
If it's
actually.
68 plus 7?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm doing inside town.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
so
no.
the ordinance for sewer, I have it in front of me. So customers inside the corporate limits shall be charged, this is what, it was $26.88, they would be charged $28.22 for the first 2,000 gallons and shall be charged, it used to be $14.33. With 5%, it would be $15.04 for each additional 2,000 gallons. So if you used, again, if you used 10,000, then if you used 5,000, which would be an average, the bill would, instead of being $42.10, it would be $44.19. Okay, outside the corporate limits sewer, formerly, at the present rate is $40.67. If we did a 5% increase, the new rate would be $42.70. And then, that's for the first 2,000, and then you would be charged, instead of $21.62, which is the current rate, $22.70, so about $1 or something. So 5,000 gallon user would be, their bill would be approximately $66.75. So when you look at this and you really get down into eaches, this is as minimal increase that we can do. And I'm gonna go ahead and share with you now, because Sharon is crunching the numbers. We are putting in basically the number already, to see what it would look like if we appropriated with an additional 5% increase, and we're still gonna have to shave to stay in the green, right? That's the
I
truth.
think it needs to be looked
But
at.
we believe if we can shave, and we can shave a little bit more, that 5% would put us in the green. But we'll just barely. Now, would y'all like for me to go through the water rates too, or do you want me to? I can go through them real quick.
I think what most of the customers probably wanna know is when they get their water bill, they're gonna look at what is their flat rate? They wanna know, I mean, we can
Okay,
break it
yeah.
down, I just wanted
Right.
to know the flat rate, and you said it
Well,
would be around $75,
It
right?
won't, yeah, well, it won't, until you decide it won't be so. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is, let me run through the water real quick,
Go
maybe
ahead.
it'll make sense. Okay, so here's the ordinance, the former ordinance. Customers inside the corporate limits shall be charged $21.18 for the first 2,000 gallons. That would increase to $22.24, so $1 and some. And shall be charged $8.25 for each 1,000 gallons of water in excess of 2,000 gallons, which are base rate. So instead of $8.25, it would be $8.66, so 40 cents or so. Okay, so if you put these numbers together and use 5,000 gallons, you're gonna get to 2 with the base rate, right? And then let's just add 3 more, and that's about average on what we're running. Your base rate water bill would be $28.44 inside town. This water, man. Don't get, it's not sewer.
Right.
It's water. Okay, now outside town, so instead of $38.47, the base rate bill would be $40.39, so $1 and some change. For the first 2,000, and then each additional 1,000, instead of $12.33, it'd go to $12.95. So if that customer used 5,000 gallons of water only, just like my mom has our water, right? No sewer. Then if she used 5,000 gallons, and that means she gets 2,000 for the base rate, and then 3 more additional 1,000, the water bill would be $46.10. So with that, you're talking about water and sewer, okay? So let's just say we've got a 5,000 user customer inside town, like Carol, or me, or Lisa, or any of us that live in the corporate limits, right? So if that person had used 5,000 gallons, then instead of, let me do the math real quick, it's gonna be 28.44 plus 44.19. Just a second. 28.44. Coming up there. 28.44 plus 4.19 plus. So a 5,000 gallons user in town would be $72.63, which is an increase of $4.17 from the current rate.
Rates are going up, you know,
That's it. Going
families that
forward.
got 4 or 5 kids, whenever I keep my grandkids, I have to wash clothes almost every other day. That is an expense. And as citizens, I mean, it's just too hard, it's rough. And, when it will not be, is it state mandated? It's not state mandated.
No, this is not state
It's not
mandated.
state mandated, so it's up to the board to vote
Yes.
yes or no.
Yes.
But it's not, well, I hope that the board will really verify and check and make sure that there is no way that, that if we could just make sure that we don't have to increase. The mayor, the city manager brought it to the board. It's the board's job to make sure, hey, is this the best way to go? Are we making it easier for the people?
Okay, well, and,
Because it's our job to do
comments
it.
appreciated, we, Sharon and I are an open book.
Right.
Any member of the board
Right.
that would like to come in and sit with us both, sit with Sharon, sit with me independently, we will gladly open up our system.
We all make mistakes.
We don't make mistakes.
Well, you thought that we couldn't afford a city
yeah.
manager, and we found out we could
I-
for 17 years.
Carol,
It's the
we
truth.
didn't appropriate for a city manager.
No, we did.
It's about expenses
Yeah, I
and appropriations,
understand.
year over year.
Well, don't get it
We did
twisted,
not.
you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm telling you,
I'm
we didn't
telling
appropriate
you.
for one. Don't get mixed up with what we got in the bank according to what we spend and what we appropriate.
Mayor, I'm very aware of what's
Yeah.
going on.
And so with that, do you have any specific questions at this point concerning our recommendation in water and sewer? I will be glad to print this budget for you. We will sit down with you and open up next gen, and you can look at our expenses. We'll print them out real time and show you what we're spending and what we appropriated and what the predictions are. That's where we're at. Do I like giving you this news? Absolutely not. I do not.
But you cannot go, if you go in the red for 3 years in a row, you go to Nashville.
Right.
I've been there.
We heard that last year, and we know what happened, so you can understand why I'm very concerned.
But last
Thank
year,
you.
the only way we didn't have red
Or-
was because of grants.
Yeah.
Operational was in the red last year.
You know, everybody have to make their own decision, you
Yeah.
know, but, I mean, like I tell my supporters, if it's not state mandated, I'm not voting for an increase.
But what do you think they're gonna make you raise?
I went through that before, Sharon. I went through it last year, the year before. I went through that last year and the year before. I'm not going back.
I know,
So,
but I'm
I
saying
understand, but
they
I've
get
gone
red.
through this. These ladies, they're new. I mean, a lot of things have taken place that they may not even know, but I know. And I've been there.
All right, well,
And no disrespect,
Ladies and
because
gentlemen of the
everybody's
board,
doing a
this
good
is your
job.
budget.
Everybody is doing a good job.
I'm the town manager, and it is my responsibility according to the charter to present you with a budget.
Thank
I
you.
have
And-
done just that. I will tell you that Sharon and I will continue to work the numbers as they come in toward June 30th, till we get to the actual number.
Thank you.
But I can only look at the trend that we see now, and again, it's year over year, it's appropriations versus expenses, that's all it is. In municipal budgeting, it's year, it's not 3 years, 5 years, it's year over year. And, you know, we are responsible to keep both the Plus City Waterworks business and the town
Right.
in business health.
And I think the town's doing wonderfully, seem to. Activities and things going on, the workers. And I'll tell you now, everybody's not gonna agree, so we can agree to disagree without being mad.
No,
You know,
not
cause I'm
mad
gonna
at all.
speak my truth.
I'm just doing my job for y'all. I mean,
Right.
that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm subject to any question you have. I'll show you anything you wanna see. I'll print you anything you wanna see. We can, once this meeting concludes, if anybody wants to meet with me as town manager individually, you can do that. We're authorized to do that individually. And I'll show you any system thing you wanna see, as will Sharon. I guarantee you, I speak for her. She'll show you anything you wanna see. But that's where we're at. So does anyone have any other questions? Any due outs for me? We will, obviously, we'll be scheduling another work session very soon.
Do you know exactly when it might be?
I'll talk, it's at the will and pleasure of the board, but, June 30th looms.
So June 30th is, the decision has to be made.
We are required to make the deadline for the comptroller to have a budget approved and submitted no later than June 30th. That's what we need to do. And, also, those that submit budgets in a timely manner are more highly favored for grants. Makes you live more fiscally responsible.
And 3 years of being in the red.
What,
They'll come in and tell you, this
Well,
is what you will raise
y'all
your
took the
rates to.
training, y'all took the training over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like this business right here, I mean,
That's why they
one
say
day I got
be
an order,
engaged.
Right.
you know, I told y'all, I said, I think something's coming, get ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, I ain't know nothing about it. Bam, I get an order in the mail, hey, we want this training, we gotta have it by May 31st, or we're basically, you're in danger of losing your grants to me, and we
No, we
done
missed
did
it for about 2 years, did, because Irene used to tell me all the
Yeah, but
time.
I'm just saying, they ain't playing, man, you just get an order, and,
But they will raise the rates. They
yes,
will,
ma'am, and
they
it's
will
happened
determine.
here before.
And,
And Sharon will tell you that.
If it's mandated, yeah.
right, and
They-
from what I understand, it's gonna be enough of an amount that you won't be in the red again.
You won't, yes, ma'am.
Right, I
They
remember
are
this.
gonna, it's gonna be more than 5%, I can tell you that.
Right.
And it'll be, this year, I don't know, name a number, 12%, next year 8%, next year, a year after that 6%. And
So we lose
you're
control.
sitting there on the board, and Carol and I were on the board, you're sitting there, you can't vote nothing but yes. You can't vote no, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody can do anything about it. That's the reason that you have these little incremental increases on your own.
What year was the last increase?
We did one last year.
Last 2 years.
Yeah, we do have to.
Okay.
Yeah, we did 4% last year. And, but we are catching up to a certain extent.
One of the things that hit us was the fact that we state mandated, we had to clean the water tank.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That-
that's $55,000
That was
project.
previous
You know.
I mean, I'm
folks
seeing
not
what's-
allocating any
yeah.
money for that. And that's why we had to do that 4% increase, was because there was no way to pay for that
Yep.
unless we
You had to
did.
buy water, man.
And, yeah, and buying
You
water.
had to buy water.
We bought water, we lost water, and just like with last year, when we was going through all that, I said, okay, so maybe this year things will be better, we won't have to do it. So yeah, things should be better. So that's what I don't get.
Well, the thing about it is, like I said before.
I know everything's going on.
These chemicals, and we can show you the bills.
I
These
understand.
So if things had gone the way
Yeah.
you thought, the way when you first budgeted it budgeted everything, you
We,
would have been
yeah.
okay.
We.
but it was the
had
surprises.
No stinking idea
Yeah.
that this stuff was gonna come in like it has. I mean, honestly, in the industry, go ask whoever you want to. Nobody knew that these chemicals were gonna double, and the lead times for us to get them were gonna double. You know what I'm saying? And it was a building year. We did a water tank project, which we had to do. We're mandated by TDEC every 5 years to have that water tank cleaned and checked. You know, so we have to do it. Or we won't have a water system. They'll just say, you don't have a city water system. So, things come up, you know, I mean, and we can't just say next year, oh, it's gonna be a lot less. How do we know? You know what I'm saying? It's just like your own personal finances. You can't say, well, heck, I'm gonna be spending, you don't know what's gonna be at the grocery store, I mean.
That's right.
Yeah, so, okay, well, anything else for me, at this point in the formal part of this meeting? Any other questions, any number you'd like to see me drill down? Any questions for Sharon?
Well, the final budget though, we still got coming through this evening.
Glad you're here, Ben.